The night sky on planet Thresh 9 was dark and cold. 3 moons hung in the air like watching eyes. Commander Kang Tae-wan moved through the shadows without making a sound. His team followed close behind him. They were called Phantom Squad, and they were the best soldiers humanity had ever trained. Tae-wan raised his hand. His team stopped. They were outside a massive alien building. Inside were enemies called the Vraken. The Vraken looked like giant lizards that walked on 2 legs. They had scales, sharp teeth, and yellow eyes. They thought humans were weak and stupid. The Vraken were wrong. Lieutenant Bae Ji-woo crouched next to Tae-wan. She was small but tough. Her fingers danced across a small computer screen. She was trying to hack into the enemy computer systems. After a few minutes, she smiled. "Got it," she whispered. "Their security is down for 10 minutes. Tae-wan nodded. His left eye glowed red for a second. It was not a real eye. It was a machine eye that helped him see in the dark and scan for enemies. He could see heat, movement, and even electronic signals. "Move in," he said quietly. The team slipped through a side door. Inside, the building was huge. Metal walls stretched high above them. Strange alien machines beeped and hummed. Corporal Lee Sora took the lead. She was young but very smart. She knew how to blend in and move like a ghost. They moved through empty hallways. Sometimes they heard Vraken soldiers walking nearby. Each time the team would freeze and hide. The aliens never saw them. After 20 minutes, they reached a computer room. Ji-woo plugged a small device into one of the alien machines. Data started flowing into her computer. "This is bad," she whispered as she read the information. "The Vraken are planning to attack human colonies. They have big weapons. Really big, and they are going to attack in 2 weeks." Sergeant Park Hyun-woo checked his weapon. He was the biggest man on the team. He carried a heavy plasma gun that would break most people's arms. But Hyun-woo was strong. Very strong. "We need to get this information back to our ship," he said. Tae-wan agreed. He sent a quick message to Captain Yoon Dae-ho, who was waiting in orbit on their ship called the Indomitable. The message was short: mission success. Coming home. That was when everything went wrong. Alarms screamed through the building. Red lights flashed. Tae-wan's machine eye flickered as it detected movement. "Lots of movement, they found us," Sora said. Her voice was calm but worried. "Run," Tae-wan ordered. The team ran through the corridors. Behind them, they heard heavy footsteps. The Vraken were coming. Lots of them. The aliens carried energy rifles that shot blue lightning. When the shots hit the walls, metal melted and burned. Hyun-woo turned and fired his plasma gun. The weapon roared. 3 Vraken soldiers fell, but more came to replace them. The team reached the exit tunnel where they had entered, but enemy soldiers blocked the way. Tae-wan's mind worked fast. He looked at his team. Then he looked at the enemies. There were too many. His machine eye scanned the area. He found another path. It was dangerous but possible. "Ji-woo," he said. "Take the team through that air vent." "It leads to the surface." Ji-woo looked at him. Her eyes went wide. She understood what he was planning. "No," she said. "We do not leave people behind." "That is an order, Lieutenant," Tae-wan said. His voice was hard like steel. "Get the data back to the ship. That information will save millions of lives." More enemies were coming. They could hear boots running toward them from every direction. "Commander." Hyun-woo started to protest. "Go," Tae-wan shouted. He fired his rifle down the hallway. Enemy soldiers ducked for cover. Ji-woo grabbed Sora's arm and pulled her toward the air vent. Hyun-woo looked back at his commander one last time. Then he followed the others. Tae-wan was alone. He moved to a corner where he could defend from 2 directions. His rifle was almost out of ammunition. That was okay. He had fought with less before. The first group of Vraken came around the corner. Tae-wan shot 3 of them before they knew what happened. The others scattered and started firing. Blue energy bolts flew past his head. He threw a small bomb down the hallway. The explosion shook the building. Smoke filled the air. Tae-wan used the confusion to move to a better position. More soldiers came. He shot them too. His rifle clicked empty. He dropped it and pulled out a pistol. 6 more enemies fell. Then something hit him from behind. Pain exploded in his back. His machine eye sparked and went dark. He fell to his knees. Strong hands grabbed him. He tried to fight, but there were too many of them. A Vraken soldier hit him in the head with a rifle. Everything went black. When Tae-wan woke up, he was in a cell. The room was cold and dark. His hands were chained to the wall. His weapons were gone. His equipment was destroyed, but he was alive. He heard footsteps outside. The door opened. A large Vrakan walked in. This one wore armor with medals and symbols. He was important. A commander or general. Behind him came another Vrakan. This one was smaller with intelligent eyes. She carried a data pad. The large one spoke. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. A computer translated his words into English. Human, the Vrakan said. I am War Master Kralith. You are my prisoner now. You will tell me everything about human military secrets. You will tell me where your fleets are. You will tell me how to break your defenses. Taiwan said nothing. He just looked at the alien with cold eyes. Kralith laughed. It was not a nice sound. You humans think you are strong, Kralith said, but you are weak. You are children playing with adult weapons. Your species is young and stupid. You will break easily. The female Vrakan stepped forward. Her name tag said Veshna. Tell us your name and rank, she said. Her voice was softer but still cold. Taiwan looked at her. Then he spoke for the first time. Commander Kang Taiwan, Human Navy Special Operations, service number 2847-6691, that was all he said. It was all he would say. Kralith hit him across the face. Blood ran from Taiwan's mouth, but he did not cry out. He did not even blink. You will talk, Kralith said. They all talk eventually. The two Vrakan left. The door closed. Taiwan was alone again in the dark. But something was happening that the Vrakan did not know about. Inside Taiwan's damaged machine eye, a small piece of technology was still working. It was sending a signal. The signal was very quiet and very secret. The signal contained only two things: Taiwan's identification code and one word Reaper. High above planet Thresh 9, the human ship Indomitable floated in space. Inside the ship, the bridge was full of worried people. Captain Yoon Dae-ho stood near the main screen. His face looked tired. He had not slept in 20 hours. Lieutenant Ji-woo sat at her computer station. Her fingers were shaking. She had brought her team back safely, but she had left her commander behind. That felt like failure. Suddenly, her computer started beeping. A signal was coming through. It was very weak. She almost missed it. Her eyes went wide as she read the signal. She stood up so fast that her chair fell over. "Captain!" she shouted. "I am getting a distress signal." Everyone on the bridge turned to look at her. "It is from Commander Taiwan," she said. Her voice was shaking. "He is alive!" Dae-ho moved quickly to her station. "What does the signal say?" Ji-woo looked at her captain. Her face had gone pale. "Just one word, sir, Reaper." The entire bridge went silent. People stopped working. They all stared at Ji-woo. The word hung in the air like thunder. Reaper. Captain Dae-ho's face changed. His worried look disappeared. It was replaced by something hard and determined. "Battle stations," he said quietly. His voice was like ice. "All hands to battle stations. Now." Alarms started ringing through the ship. Soldiers ran to their positions. Weapons powered up. The Indomitable was preparing for war. Ji-woo sent encrypted messages to every human military ship in the area. The messages were short. "The Reaper is captured on Thresh 9. Need immediate support." In the ship's common room, Sergeant Hyun-woo and Corporal Sora were cleaning their weapons. They heard the alarm. They looked at each other. "The commander is alive," Sora said. Her voice was filled with hope. Hyun-woo nodded. He picked up his heavy plasma gun. "We are going back for him." "Yes," Sora said. "Yes, we are." Across human space, other ships received Ji-woo's message. On military bases, generals read the word Reaper and their faces went hard. They started giving orders immediately. The word meant something to every human soldier. The Reaper was not just a man. He was a legend. Years ago, Taiwan had been just another soldier. Good, but not special. Then came the Draven incident. Pirates called the Draven had attacked a passenger ship. They took 47 people as hostages. The hostages were not all human. There were aliens from many different species. The pirates took them to a secret base on an asteroid. A rescue team was sent. Taiwan was part of that team. But the mission went wrong. The pirates were waiting for them. Most of the rescue team was killed in the first few minutes. Only Taiwan survived. Command told him to retreat. Wait for backup. It would take 3 days for another team to arrive. The hostages would be dead by then. Taiwan did not retreat. He went deeper into the pirate base, alone. For 2 days and 2 nights he hunted the pirates. He moved through the dark corridors like a ghost. The pirates started calling him the Reaper, death itself. By the time backup arrived, Taiwan had killed every single pirate, all 123 of them. He had freed all 47 hostages. He had done it alone. After that, the name stuck. Taiwan became the Reaper, the most dangerous human soldier alive. Now that legend was captured, and the entire human military was mobilizing to get him back. On Thresh 9, inside the Vraken compound, interrogator Veshna was working late. She was trying to find information about human military operations. But something strange was happening. She had intercepted human communications. They were talking about someone called Reaper. She heard that word again and again. The humans seemed very upset about it. Veshna was smart. She started to get worried. She went to find War Master Kralith. She found him in his office. He was drinking something that smelled bad and looking at battle plans. War Master, she said, I need to speak with you. Kralith looked up. He did not seem happy to see her. What is it? The humans are sending many messages, Veshna said. They keep mentioning a word, Reaper. I think it might be important. Kralith laughed. It is just psychological warfare. The humans are trying to scare us. They want us to think they have some super soldier. It is a trick, but sir, Veshna said. They are moving warships. A lot of warships. All coming here, let them come, Kralith said. He sounded proud and stupid at the same time. We will destroy them. The humans are weak. Veshna left his office. She did not believe that the humans were weak. She had seen what their prisoner did when they tried to capture him. He had killed many good soldiers before they finally brought him down. She went back to her computer and started searching for information. She hacked into galactic military databases. It took her hours, but finally she found something. There was a classified file about a human soldier. The file had warnings all over it. Extreme danger. Do not engage. Call for immediate backup if encountered. The soldier's call sign was Reaper. His real name was Commander Kang Tae-wan. Veshna felt her blood go cold. That was their prisoner, the human in the cell downstairs. They had captured the Reaper. She read more of the file. Mission success rate 100%. Confirmed kills over 400. Special skills: infiltration, assassination, tactical command, survival. Psychological profile: extremely dangerous, highly intelligent, absolutely fearless. The file had reports from alien species who had fought against him. They all said the same thing. Do not underestimate this human. He is the most dangerous soldier we have ever encountered. Veshna ran back to Kralith's office. She burst through the door without knocking. Sir, we have made a terrible mistake. Kralith stood up, angry that she had interrupted him. What are you talking about? The prisoner, she said. He is not just a soldier. He is their best. He is the Reaper. The human military is coming for him. All of them. Kralith stared at her. Then he laughed again. One human cannot be that dangerous. You are being foolish, sir, please, Veshna said. Look at this file. We need to call for reinforcements. We need to prepare. We have 5,000 soldiers in this compound, Kralith said. We have weapons and defenses. One human prisoner changes nothing. I will not show weakness by calling for help. Veshna wanted to argue more. But she could see that Kralith would not listen. His pride was too great. She left his office and went to check on the prisoner. She wanted to see him again, to understand what made him so dangerous. Meanwhile, far away from Thresh 9, a meeting was happening. It was taking place on a space station, where many different alien species worked together. This was a Galactic Council station. Ambassador Thoril was an insect-like alien. He had 4 arms and large eyes. He was reading reports about the situation on Thresh 9. He did not like what he was reading. His assistant came into his office. Sir, she said, the humans are mobilizing 3 entire battle groups. They are all heading to Thresh 9. 3 battle groups, Thoril repeated. That is a lot of ships. What happened? The Vraken captured one of their soldiers, the assistant said. Someone important. Thoril remembered his history lessons. He had studied humanity when they first joined the galactic community. Humans were strange. They were violent and emotional. But they were also fiercely loyal to each other. He pulled up old records from the first human war. Humans had fought against the Kalari species. The Kalari had thought humans would be easy to defeat. The Kalari were wrong, very wrong. Humans fought differently than other species. They did not give up. They did not retreat. They adapted and learned and kept fighting until they won. The Kalari had surrendered after only 6 months. They said fighting humans was like fighting a natural disaster. Unstoppable. Thorol sent an urgent message to the Fracken High Command. He tried to warn them. The humans are coming. Release their soldier. Make peace. But the Fracken did not respond. Back on the Indomitable, Jiwoo was watching her screens. More and more human ships were arriving in the area. Destroyers, cruisers, and carriers. They were forming up into attack groups. Captain Daeho received a message from Naval Command. It was short and clear. Retrieve Commander Taewon. Use any force necessary. Daeho looked at his crew. Prepare for assault, he said. We are going to get our commander back. In the ready room, Phantom Squad was getting ready. Hyunwoo was loading his plasma gun. Sora was checking her stealth suit. Jiwoo was preparing her hacking equipment. We are going back down there, Jiwoo said. And we are not leaving without him this time. Down on Thresh 9 in his dark cell, Taewon was not idle. He had found a small piece of metal in the corner. He was using it to work on his chains, slowly and quietly. The Vraken thought they had captured a prize. They thought they had won. They had no idea what was coming for them. The alarm started screaming at 3 in the morning. Red lights flashed through every hallway in the Vraken compound. Soldiers ran in every direction, grabbing their weapons and shouting orders. The human prisoner had escaped. War Master Krelith ran to the detention area. 2 guards lay on the floor, not moving. The cell door was open. The chains hung empty from the wall. How did this happen? Krelith roared at the officer in charge. The officer looked terrified. We do not know, sir. The guards came to check on him. They opened the door. Then nothing. We found them like this. Veshna arrived at the cell. She looked at the empty chains. Then she looked at the small piece of metal on the floor. A lockpick. The human had made it from a scrap he found in his cell. She looked at Krelith. Sir, we need to seal the compound. Right now it is already done, Krelith said. Nothing can get in or out. We will find him. But finding Taewon was not going to be easy. He was already moving through the ventilation system. The air ducts were narrow and dark, perfect for someone who knew how to hide. He crawled silently through the metal tunnels, listening to the sounds below him. His machine eye was damaged but still working a little bit. It gave him just enough light to see in the darkness. He could hear the Vraken searching for him. They were looking in all the wrong places. Taewon had spent his time in the cell learning about the compound. He had listened to the sounds. Footsteps told him where the guard patrols went. Machine noises told him where the important rooms were. He had built a map in his mind. Now he was using that map. He found an access panel and pushed it open quietly. Below him was a storage room, empty. He dropped down without making a sound. The room had cleaning supplies and maintenance tools. Taewon took what he needed: a knife, a length of strong wire, a small container of acid that could burn through metal. He heard voices outside the door. 2 guards were passing by. They were talking about the escaped prisoner. Do you think we will find him? One guard asked. Of course, the other said. He is just one human. Where can he go? The voices faded away. Taewon waited a few more seconds. Then he opened the door and stepped into the hallway. A Vraken soldier came around the corner. He saw Taewon and opened his mouth to shout. He never got the chance. Taewon moved like lightning. The knife flashed once. The guard fell without making a sound. Taewon took the guard's weapon and uniform jacket. Now he had a rifle. That was better. He moved deeper into the compound. His destination was clear in his mind. The armory. He needed more weapons. And he needed to destroy their weapon supplies. More search teams passed by. Taewon hid in the shadows. When he could not hide, he killed quickly and quietly. Bodies started appearing throughout the compound. The Vraken were finding their soldiers dead in hallways and closets and side rooms. Fear began to spread. In the command center, Veshna was watching the security cameras. But the human was too smart. He stayed in the blind spots. He moved through areas without cameras. When he did appear on screen, it was only for a second before he vanished again. She pulled up the body count. 18 soldiers dead so far, and they still had not even seen him except on camera. Krelith slammed his fist on a table. How can one human do this? Where are all my soldiers? He is hunting them, Veshna said quietly. Just like he did to the Draven pirates. Krelith turned to glare at her. Do not speak nonsense. Send more troops, find him. Kill him, Veshna sent the orders. But she did not think more troops would help. This human was different. He was not trying to escape. He was trying to destroy them from inside. Taewon reached the armory. 2 guards stood outside the heavy door. They looked nervous. They had heard about the dead soldiers. Taewon did not try to sneak past them. He walked right up to them. The guards saw him coming and raised their weapons. "Stop," one guard shouted. "Identify yourself." Taewon shot them both, fast and accurate. They fell before they could fire back. He used the acid to burn through the lock on the armory door. Inside, rows of weapons and ammunition filled the room. Energy rifles, plasma grenades, body armor, everything a soldier could want. Taewon took what he needed. He strapped on armor. He filled his pockets with grenades. He took 2 rifles and as much ammunition as he could carry. Then he started placing explosives throughout the armory. When these went off, the entire weapon supply would be destroyed. The door burst open. A full squad of Rakan soldiers rushed in. Finally, they had found him. Krelith was with them. He saw Taewon standing in the middle of the armory, armed and armored. "There you are, human," Krelith said. "You have caused enough trouble." Taewon looked at him. His machine eye glowed red in the dim light. For the first time since his capture, he smiled. "It was not a nice smile. Kill him," Krelith ordered. The soldiers opened fire. Blue energy bolts filled the air. But Taewon was already moving. He dove behind a stack of weapon crates. The enemy fire hit the crates instead of him. Taewon threw a grenade. The explosion knocked 3 soldiers off their feet. He came out from cover, firing both rifles. His aim was perfect. 4 more soldiers fell. Krelith grabbed a weapon from a fallen soldier. He fired at Taewon. The shot hit Taewon's armor and bounced off. The armor was designed to stop those weapons. Taewon ran toward Krelith. The War Master was big and strong, but Taewon was fast. He slid under a table and came up behind a group of soldiers. They turned to face him. Too slow, more explosions. More gunfire. The armory became a war zone. Krelith realized they could not win this fight. Not here, not now. He ordered his remaining soldiers to retreat. They ran out of the armory, leaving their dead behind. Taewon did not chase them. He activated the explosives he had planted. Then he ran for the exit. The explosions started 5 seconds later. The entire armory went up in flames. The blast shook the compound. Alarms screamed even louder. Taewon made his way to the communications room. If he could reach it, he could send a message to his team. Tell them he was alive and ready for extraction. But the Vrakan were learning. They were setting up ambushes, blocking routes, trying to predict where he would go. Taewon fought his way through 3 more ambushes. Each time he left more bodies behind, but he was getting tired. He was running low on ammunition. He had taken several hits. The armor had saved him, but the impact still hurt. Finally, he reached the communications room. He kicked open the door. Inside, 2 technicians were working at their stations. They saw him and froze in fear. "Leave," Taewon said. They ran. He sat down at one of the computers. His fingers flew across the keys. The Vrakan systems were different from human systems, but the basic logic was the same. His machine eye helped him decode the alien language. After 2 minutes, he broke through their security. He opened a channel on human military frequencies. "Reaper to Indomitable," he said into the microphone. "Objective secured. Ready for extraction. Enemy forces compromised. Repeat, enemy forces compromised." In the background of his transmission, alarms blared. Explosions echoed through the compound. The sounds of chaos filled the air. High above the planet, aboard the Indomitable, Ji-Woo received the transmission. She jumped out of her chair. "Captain, the commander is alive. He is calling for extraction." Captain Daeho smiled for the first time in days. "All ships," he broadcast to the human fleet. "Begin assault. We are going to get our man back." In space, engines flared to life. Human warships began moving toward Thresh 9. They came in formation, weapons hot, ready for battle. Inside the compound, Taewon heard the sounds of ships entering the atmosphere. He looked up and smiled again. The cavalry was coming. The sky above Thresh 9 lit up with fire and light. Human warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. There were dozens of them, big ones, small ones, all of them ready for war. The Vrakan defense fleet tried to respond. Their ships moved to intercept the humans, but they were too slow and too few. Captain Daeho stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. He watched the enemy ships on his screen. "This is Captain Yoon Dae-ho of the Human Navy." He broadcast on all frequencies. "You have 5 minutes to surrender. If you do not, we will destroy you. This is your only warning." The Vrakan commander did not respond. Instead, he ordered his ships to attack. It was a mistake. A big one. The human fleet opened fire. Energy beams and missiles filled the space between the ships. The Vrakan vessels tried to fight back, but the humans had more ships, better weapons, and they were angry. Within 10 minutes, half the Vrakan fleet was destroyed. The rest were running away or surrendering. "Launch the drop pods," Dae-ho ordered. Small pods shot out from the human ships. They fell toward the planet like meteors. Inside one of the pods, Phantom Squad was ready for action. Ji-woo checked her weapons one more time. Hyun-woo was humming a song. It was something he always did before a fight. Sora was quiet, focused, thinking about the mission. "We are going to get him back," Ji-woo said, "no matter what." The others nodded. They would die before leaving their commander behind again. The pods hit the ground hard. The doors blew open. Phantom Squad rushed out, weapons ready. They were on the outer edge of the Vrakan compound. Enemy soldiers saw them coming and opened fire. Blue energy bolts flew through the air. Hyun-woo stepped forward with his heavy plasma gun. The weapon roared and a stream of superheated energy tore through the enemy positions. The Vrakan defensive walls melted like butter. Sora moved to the side, using her stealth abilities to get behind the enemy. She was like a shadow. The Vrakan never saw her coming until it was too late. Ji-woo hacked into the compound's network from her portable computer. "Commander, can you hear me?" She broadcast on their private channel. Inside the compound, Tae-won heard her voice in his earpiece. He had taken one from a dead guard. "I hear you, Lieutenant," he replied. "I am in the East Section, Level 3. Communications room. On our way, sir," Ji-woo said. She marked his position on their tactical map. "Team, we have his location. East Section, Level 3. Let us move." Phantom Squad fought through the outer defenses. More human soldiers were landing all around the compound. The Vrakan were surrounded, outnumbered, and outgunned. Inside the command center, War Master Kralith watched his compound falling apart. His soldiers were dying, his defenses were broken, and the humans just kept coming. Veshna stood next to him. "Sir, we need to surrender. We cannot win this." "No," Kralith roared. "I will not surrender to these animals. I will kill that human myself." He grabbed his weapon and his best soldiers. They ran toward the communications room. If he could kill the Reaper, maybe he could still win. Maybe he could still save his honor. Tae-won heard them coming. His machine eye could detect movement through walls. He saw the heat signatures approaching. One of them was much bigger than the others. That would be Kralith. Good, Tae-won thought. Let him come. The door to the communications room exploded inward. Kralith and his guards rushed in, weapons firing. Tae-won was ready. He had set up defensive positions. He returned fire from behind cover. 2 guards fell immediately. Kralith roared in anger. He was twice Tae-won's size. His scales were like armor. His strength was incredible. He charged at Tae-won like a living tank. Tae-won rolled to the side. Kralith smashed through the computer console where Tae-won had been standing. Sparks flew everywhere. The 2 warriors faced each other. Human and Vrakan. Small versus big. Fast versus strong. "You should have stayed in your cell, human," Kralith said. "You should have let me go when you had the chance," Tae-won replied. They fought. Kralith swung his massive fists. Each blow could break bones. But Tae-won was faster. He ducked and weaved, landing quick strikes on weak points. Kralith grabbed a metal beam and swung it like a club. Tae-won jumped over it. He kicked Kralith in the face. The alien stumbled back. More Vrakan guards tried to help their commander, but then Phantom Squad burst into the room from another door. Hyun-woo's plasma gun roared. The guards fell. Ji-woo and Sora moved to secure the room. "Commander," Ji-woo called out. "We are here. Stand. Down," Tae-won ordered without taking his eyes off Kralith. "This one is mine." Phantom Squad formed a defensive perimeter but did not interfere. This fight was between commanders. Kralith was breathing hard. Blood ran from cuts on his face, but he was still dangerous. He pulled out a combat knife as long as Taewan's arm. "I will mount your head on my wall," Krelith snarled. Taewan pulled out his own knife, much smaller, but in his hands, it was just as deadly. They circled each other. Then Krelith lunged. His blade came down in a killing strike. Taewan sidestepped. The blade missed him by inches. He struck back, his knife cutting across Krelith's arm. The alien roared in pain. They exchanged blows, knife against knife, speed against strength, training against rage. Krelith was getting slower. He was losing too much blood. Taewan's cuts were precise. Each one weakened the alien a little more. Finally, Krelith made a mistake. He overextended on a thrust. Taewan caught his arm and twisted. The knife fell from Krelith's hand. Taewan kicked Krelith's legs out from under him. The massive alien fell to his knees. Taewan pressed his knife against Krelith's throat. "Yield," Taewan said quietly. Krelith looked up at him. For the first time, there was fear in his eyes. He had finally understood. This human was not like the others. This human was death itself. "I yield," Krelith said. His voice was quiet and defeated. Taewan stepped back. He did not kill Krelith. He had won. That was enough. Jiwoo ran to her commander. "Sir, are you hurt?" "I am fine, Lieutenant," Taewan said. He looked tired but steady. "Good work getting here so fast. We were not going to leave you again, sir," Hyunwoo said. "I know," Taewan said. "That is why you are the best team in the galaxy." The door opened again. Veshna walked in slowly, her hands raised. She was not armed. "Do not shoot," she said. "I surrender, but I have information. Important information." Taewan looked at her carefully. His machine eye scanned her for weapons. She was clean. "What information?" he asked. "The attack you discovered," Veshna said. "It is part of something bigger. There is a conspiracy. Multiple species are planning to attack humanity. All at once. They want to push you out of the galaxy." Phantom Squad looked at each other. This was bigger than they thought. "Why are you telling us this?" Jiwoo asked. Veshna looked at Taewan. "Because I have seen what happens when people underestimate humans. I do not want my species to make that mistake again. I want to help prevent a galactic war." Taewan thought for a moment. Then he nodded. "We will take you with us. You will tell everything to our commanders." Captain Daeho's voice came through their communicators. "Phantom Squad, what is your status?" "Mission complete, sir," Taewan replied. "We have the commander. We also have a defector with critical intelligence. Request immediate extraction." "Extraction inbound," Daeho said. There was relief in his voice. "Good to hear your voice, Commander." "Good to be heard, Captain," Taewan said. Minutes later, a human transport ship landed outside the compound. Phantom Squad walked out together with Taewan leading the way. Veshna and the captured Krelith came with them. The battle was over. The Vraken had surrendered. The compound was in human hands, but the war was just beginning. The Indomitable floated in space, heading back toward human territory. On the bridge, Captain Daeho stood with his arms crossed, watching the stars pass by. The mission was complete. His friend was safe, but the information they had learned was troubling. In the medical bay, a doctor was checking Taewan's injuries. There were cuts, bruises, and broken ribs, but Taewan refused to stay in bed. "I need to be at the debriefing," he told the doctor. "You need rest," the doctor argued. "I will rest when this is over," Taewan said. He got up and walked out despite the doctor's protests. In the briefing room, Phantom Squad sat around a table. Jiwoo was eating noodles. Hyunwoo was cleaning his gun again. Sora was reading a report on her tablet. When Taewan walked in, they all stood up. He waved them back down. "At ease," he said. "We have work to do." Veshna was brought in under guard. She carried a data pad filled with information. She looked nervous but determined. Captain Daeho joined them through a video screen. He was coordinating with other ships but wanted to hear this report. "Tell us everything," Taewan said to Veshna. Veshna took a deep breath. "The attack on human colonies was planned by the Vraken. But we were not working alone. 6 other species agreed to help. They are all afraid of humanity. Why are they afraid?" Jiwoo asked. Because you grow too fast, Veshna said. In just 50 years, humans have built one of the strongest militaries in the galaxy. You expand quickly. You adapt quickly. You fight like nothing we have ever seen. Some species think it is better to stop you now, before you become too powerful. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Hyunwoo spoke up. That is stupid. We do not want to conquer anyone. We just want to live in peace, I know that now, Veshna said. But fear makes people stupid. The conspiracy has been building for years. They were planning coordinated attacks on 30 human worlds, all at once. It would cripple your infrastructure and force you to retreat. When is the attack planned? Taewon asked. 3 months from now, Veshna said. But now that you know about it, they might move faster. Captain Daeho's face on the screen looked grim. We are sending this information to High Command immediately. The Council needs to know about this. Days later, an emergency session of the Galactic Council was called. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered in a massive chamber. The air was filled with different languages and strange sounds. Ambassador Thorol stood at the center. He was nervous. This meeting could determine the future of the galaxy. Veshna was brought forward to testify. She told the council everything. She showed evidence of the conspiracy. Names, dates, plans. Everything was documented. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Species accused each other. Some denied involvement. Others tried to justify their actions. Then Taewon was called to speak. He walked into the chamber wearing his dress uniform. His medals caught the light. His cybernetic eye glowed softly red. The chamber went silent. Many of the aliens had heard stories about the Reaper. Now they could see him in person. Taewon stood before the council. He did not need notes. He spoke from the heart. You call us dangerous, he said. His voice was calm but strong. You call us violent, unpredictable, you are right. We are all those things. Do you know why? He paused and looked around the chamber. Because for thousands of years we fought each other. We had no one else to fight. We learned warfare in the hardest school possible. We learned to survive when survival seemed impossible. We did not choose to be warriors. History forced us to become the best. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. But we also learned something else. Taewon continued. We learned loyalty. We learned sacrifice. We learned that protecting your people is the highest honor. When one of our soldiers is captured, we do not abandon them. We bring the full might of humanity to get them back. That is not barbarism. That is brotherhood. He pointed to the representatives of the conspiracy species. You fear us because we are strong, but strength without honor is tyranny. We do not seek to conquer you. We seek to stand beside you as equals. We want peace. But if you force us to fight, we will fight. And we will win, not because we are cruel, but because we do not know how to give up. The chamber was completely silent now. The choice is yours, Taewon said. Peace or war. Choose wisely. He turned and walked out. He had said what needed to be said. The council debated for hours. Finally, they reached a decision. The species involved in the conspiracy were sanctioned. Their military movements were restricted. They were required to pay reparations to humanity. More importantly, the council formally acknowledged humanity's right to defend itself. They apologized for the conspiracy and promised it would not happen again. It was not a perfect solution, but it was a start. After the council meeting, Ambassador Thorol found Taewon in a hallway. The insect alien approached carefully. Commander, Thorol said. May I speak with you? Of course, Ambassador, Taewon said. I wanted to thank you, Thorol said. Your testimony changed minds today. You showed the council that humans are not monsters. You are just people trying to survive in a dangerous galaxy. Taewon nodded. We are not so different from other species. We all want the same things. Safety, prosperity, a future for our children. You have changed how the galaxy sees your species, Thorol said. I hope you are proud of what you have done. I am just a soldier, Ambassador, Taewon said. I do my duty. Nothing more. That is why you are a legend, Thorol said with something like a smile. News of what happened spread across the galaxy. The story of the Reaper's capture and escape became famous. Human recruitment for special forces increased dramatically. Young people wanted to be like Taewon. They wanted to protect humanity. The Vrakan military issued new orders to all their commanders. If you encounter human special forces, do not engage. Request backup immediately. The cost of underestimating humans was too high. Veshna was given asylum in human space. She joined Phantom Squad as their alien liaison officer. It was strange at first working with former enemies, but gradually they became a team. 2 weeks later, Phantom Squad received new orders. Another covert mission, another planet. More danger. They gathered in the briefing room aboard the Indomitable. Taewon stood at the head of the table, looking at his team. Jiwoo was making jokes. Hyunwoo was checking his weapons. Sora was studying the mission files. Veshna was learning human military protocols. "This next mission is going to be difficult," Taewon said. "But I know we can do it." "We always do, just try not to get captured this time, sir," Jiwoo said with a grin. "I do not think my heart can take another rescue mission like that." The team laughed. It felt good to laugh after everything they had been through. "I will do my best, Lieutenant," Taewon said with a small smile. Their drop pod launched from the Indomitable hours later. Inside, the team was ready. They had trained together, fought together, and bled together. They were more than just soldiers. They were family. As the pod fell toward the planet below, Taewon looked at his team one more time. He thought about everything that had happened. The capture, the escape, the battle, the council. People called him the Reaper. They feared the legend. They told stories about him in whispers. But he was not a legend. He was just a man doing his job. His job was simple: protect humanity. Protect his team. Come home alive no matter what it took. The pod hit the ground with a heavy thud. The doors opened. Phantom Squad rushed out into the darkness, ready for whatever came next. Behind them, the Indomitable watched from orbit. Captain Daeho sat in his command chair monitoring their progress. "Good luck down there," he said quietly. But he knew they did not need luck. They had something better. They had each other, and they had the Reaper.